Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video we'll be looking at everything from Erik ten Hag's press conference. We'll be previewing the game ahead of Liverpool, as it's the most important game for Manchester United. It's a huge game for us, and it's the one that we must win in Erik ten Hag to continue his job at Manchester United. We'll be talking preview, predicted team, score predictions, and giving you everything you need to know. There's some injury boosts as well, and yeah, there's some positives as well going into the game. So there are some really important things that we need to discuss. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So we're going to start off with Erik ten Hag's press conference. So he said, so Manchester United obviously and Erik ten Hag underlined the magnitude of our Emirates FA Cup game with Liverpool during his press conference today. Is a prestigious trophy for us and a chance to get into the last four. The boss called it a special game, and he looked forward to his encounter with our reporters at the Carrington training ground earlier this afternoon. So he talked about an injury update. He said, we've had a good week. All the players you mentioned, they returned on the pitch, partly in the start of the week, and today we had a good session. They were all training. I think we have tomorrow one session. We have to see how they recover from this tomorrow, but it looks good. So that's in reference to Mount, Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and HOJLUND. He said Tom Heaton is back. Also very good what Mason Mount trained with us the first part of the week. He had some full sessions with us, so it's looking good. He said some games are bigger than others. I think Manchester United vs Liverpool was a big game, but especially when it's a quarter-final of FA Cup, we're really looking forward. It's a special game, absolutely. He said fans will be behind us. Of course, to the fans, they see it's a very big game. They're very eager for us to win this, and I'm sure they'll be right behind us. As you mentioned, there are more Liverpool fans than usual in the stadium, so you have to be really loud to support us so we can hear them, but I'm convinced we will do that, absolutely. He said Liverpool are very, very consistent. They perform well. They get the results, especially, I would say, around Christmas to January, February. They play very well, good football, very good performances and very good results. He said we will go, so this is what he's talked about, plans for Sunday. We will go brave, go forward where it's possible. Also, we know when there's space in the back of the defending line, we can exploit it. But we have to get to that point to outplay them, to get the balls there, and demands stages in the key moments. So also, Erik ten Hag talked about Rashford. Obviously, there was rumours that he was looking to go to PSG, but we talked about that immediately has been shut down. Erik ten Hag said we wouldn't sign Marcus Rashford if he was going to leave the club. So he kind of shut that down immediately. I think it probably was speculation anyway, but that was something that I think we needed to get out in the air really, really quickly. I mean, you do get loads of news about that, but it was important that Erik ten Hag, for me, turned this one down. Now, let's get into team news now. Liverpool is rumours that Ibrahim Konate is a huge start for them, and he's a key player for them. I remember last round, it was against Arsenal, he was absolutely brilliant. So it's going to be tough without him in the side, but certainly something Manchester United can exploit. I think Gravenberch's in training, but Mo Salah's ready for the game. So there's some things that we need to look out for. So let's get into it. How do we actually beat Liverpool? Now, we're at Old Trafford. That does give us that advantage, the home advantage. That's something that we really need to use. We're going to have the fans behind us, and that's ultimately an extra player on the pitch. I think we just got to be... Yeah, so we got to be really, really good on the ball, really calm, composed and collected. I think Liverpool are a tough team, and they're definitely a team that do have their vulnerabilities, in my opinion. And it's all about taking the chances that we do create, because we certainly will create them. I think we've got some really, really good players, and there will be very, very some interesting changes that we make now. Obviously, as I said, team news, Rasmus HOJLUND is expected to be back and in the squad now. This might be a shock to you, but I actually wouldn't start Rasmus HOJLUND in the game. I think, yes, we know he's a class player and he's got that potential, but I don't want to rush him back from injury. I think when he's that valuable to our team, I just don't think he should be in and around it quite yet. I think he is still quite early into his recovery. He has had 3 to 4 training sessions, so I would be careful about managing his time. But ultimately, he's been brilliant for... I think Rasmus is a top quality player, and we know that, and we know he can certainly hunt Liverpool down and score some goals against them. But I would be probably more hoping for his throw off the bench when Liverpool do have tired legs. The game could go to extra time as well. Maybe using Rasmus HOJLUND will be an ideal weapon that Manchester United use. I mean, our quality on the pitch, our quality off the bench has been really, really poor recently. So maybe starting the team and bringing players off the bench will probably impact us the most. And with Wan-Bissaka, I hope he can come in because we need the lower left back to improve stability. Maguire, he maybe look to come into the team. Mount's very, very unlikely, but it does bolster our squad options on the bench, because that's something, as I said, has been looked really, really poor. Yes, we want to give young players a chance, but we don't have any depth off the bench. Someone who can come on, change the game. You look at Liverpool, they have abundance of players. You look at when when certain players are on the bench, when like Gravenberch plays in midfield, they've got Szoboszlai, Elliott on the bench. They've got world-class players in each position, and that's something Manchester United have probably been massively affected by over the past few years. So it's all about getting the right players on the pitch, and that's something that we certainly need to do, in my opinion, just to strengthen us on the pitch and just to give us that bit more momentum. I think we need quality. When you're bringing off a player on the pitch, you want to get goosebumps, and I think we're bringing on, for example, defenders. We're not bringing out any attackers, and that had a huge worry. We're not bringing on players that can change the game. Particularly last season, it was Garnacho coming off the bench, which is really, really positive, and because Sancho and Antony were starting. But now it's Garnacho starting, and we don't have anyone who can have a big impact off the bench. So that was a huge worry for us. But I certainly do think there's some big problems that Manchester United can cause to Liverpool. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, Liverpool threats. Obviously, I'm going to bring out three. They certainly have got way more than that. I think every player in their team is a threat. But for me, number one is Conor Bradley. I think absolutely been brilliant this season, stepping in for Trent. Let's not get this wrong. Trent's a world-class player. And Conor Bradley, like, ceiling's absolutely amazing. And I don't want to give credit to Liverpool because we don't like him. I don't like him anyway. But you have to give Klopp some credit. He didn't know what to do. He brought in a youngster and obviously gave him that trust and belief. And I think he did absolutely amazing there. And the quality that he's shown was amazing. I think Conor Bradley's a tough defender to come up against. And he certainly got that outs about him. He's very, very powerful. And you can see that in the Manchester City game. He did really, really well in the 60-65 minutes that he played. So it's going to be amazing to see a battle like this. But I think it'd be Garnacho against Bradley, two very, very young players. I think that's what football's all about. Second threat, obviously, Mohamed Salah. I think he struggled to find form this season, particularly coming back from AFCON. He found it very, very difficult due to injury. And he hasn't really been in the side. I think Elliott's been on that side. I think Diaz has played games on that side as well. So they have got players there. But certainly I do think Salah's a threat, whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench. He can cause issues. I mean, he scored a hat-trick, I think it was, against us last season. And you always got to remember, the last game we did play against Liverpool, we drew 0-0, but we could have very easily lost that game 3-4-0. So it's really, really difficult for us to predict how this game's going to go. It could be Manchester United sit back and get thrashed, or sit back and hope for a goal, or go for it and get thrashed. So it's going to be a very, very fascinating game. But as I said, Salah's a huge threat for them. He's so direct, so composed, and he's got that quality pass about him. You've seen it when he played it through to Luis Diaz in the other game against City. He's a world-class player. I think he scored a few goals the other day for Liverpool in the Conference Europa League as well. So he certainly is a top-class player and someone Manchester United need to be aware of. Now, the third player is Darwin Núñez. Yes, he's a meme and he does all the misses and all that, however. He's a top-quality player. His movement's unbelievable. He can score a wonder goal as well. And he's an absolute nuisance for defenders. He pops up in numerous of positions. He's someone very, very hard to track. And for me, if you look at Liverpool, I think he's literally key for them in terms of getting a goal and assist. So we've got to be very careful about him. And we need to be wary of what we do because, yeah, it's gonna be mental. I literally believe that. Manchester United threats for me, our biggest one for me in midfield, Kobbie Mainoo. I don't need to talk about him too much, but he's a huge threat. I think we can use Delort left back as well as a huge threat. Be coming up against maybe Salah. He's a tough player to come up against, but if we pocket him well, he's going to limit a lot of attack from Liverpool. I think getting Delort attacking as well is really, really important. I think another threat from us is the wingers, Garnacho and Rashford. Yes, Rashford's not been good enough. Garnacho slowly started to pick up form. But using those wingers, the pace, we know what Rashford can do against a vulnerable Liverpool side. We've got to be very careful with what we do in the attack. And I think utilising Rashford's ability in a game like this will be massively valuable. His pace, his quality. Same with Garnacho. He might not be as quick as Rashford, but he certainly is a quick player. So we've got to use that as well. I think that's really, really important. And that's something we need to look at in terms of experimenting Garnacho. He's coming up against maybe Robertson, Tsimikas or Joe Gomez. I'm not too sure who starts for them. In fact, it's been quite inconsistent the past few games. But certainly I do think there's players that can have an impact. And I hope Manchester United can give that because we do need players. Now, the next thing I wanted to discuss is predicted team. And then I'll leave it with score predictions. In goal for Manchester United, Andre Onana. Binder's out anyway, so it would be Onana that starts. I think he's got to have a good game, and if Manchester United were to win, he would be integral. He would be an integral part of that. Someone who we rely on, someone who's really, really key for us at the back, and think we rely on him massively. Now, right back for me, if Wan-Bissaka's fit enough, I would certainly put him there. I'll put Delort at left back. I think we need Delort. We need to add that stability to our defence, which I've talked about numerous of times. And if we can get Wan-Bissaka back, it does boost us defensively. Centre backs, if Evans is not fit, it'd be Varane and Maguire. If he is fit, it'd be Varane and Evans. I think Evans is kind of showing his age, but he's showing his quality at the same time. I think Evans has been really good this season for us. Has some really, really good quality. Number 10, no, sorry, into midfield has to be Casemiro, Kobe, and McTominay. Now, people are saying, where's Bruno? Don't worry, I'll talk about him in a moment. I think that midfield in the game against Liverpool, they do pack out the midfield, and they're very, very good. Endo, Szoboszlai, Elliot, McAllister, there's some really, really good players in there for Liverpool. So it's all about compacting that midfield. I think having McTominay around will be much needed, and I think in a game like this, I think he is needed. I know I said he goes ghost in big games, and this is a big game, but I think it's a cup game. I think we just need him in there. And then I'd go the front three of Bruno false 9, Rashford on the left and Garnacho on the right. As I said, I don't want to rush HOJLUND back from injury. We've done it with Martinez, he got injured again. We don't want to risk anything. I think bringing him on as well in the last 10, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, even at half-time will massively bolster us and give us that extra confidence that we need. But that would be my team for Manchester United's game against Liverpool. Prediction, I think it'd be a draw, and I think it will go to extra time and penalties. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment, subscribe if you are new, and thanks for watching. Peace.